Wow, you look great. Did you just come from the salon?
Darling Abuja, braids that stay salon fresh no matter what.
Good afternoon. This is Lunchtime News. I trust you're having a lovely Thursday so far. My name is Jackie Wambiru. Our sign language interpreter is Lucy Mora. Well, we have so much in store for you. Some of the issues we shall be taking a look at are matters drought, matters politics, matters education, among others. And now to kick us off, Kenya National Commission on Human Rights has raised concern over what it termed as increasing cases of death associated with the current electioneering period. The commission alleges that at least 4 people have so far lost their lives in Nairobi, Kisii and Baringo counties during the ongoing political campaigns. Speaking in Nairobi, KNCHR called on the institutions mandated to carry out the elections to ensure that the electioneering process focuses on promoting and protecting human rights. The commission has in the meantime said it has documented 47 cases of misuse of public resources during the ongoing campaigns.
The political electioneering process should focus towards the promotion and protection of human rights, and that all the institutions charged with various mandates and responsibilities should work towards realization on this field. In the remaining phase towards the 9th August polls, the Commission urges members of the public to observe and maintain peace and respect the rule of law during the campaigns. By all means, members of the public must shun violence and other unruly acts, such as the destruction of competing aspirants' properties, campaign posters, and the disruption of rallies.
In other news, the Public Service Commission has launched a program to train office administrative service personnel to impart other civil service values and life skills. The program, which was launched in Nairobi by Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Public Service, Mary Kimonye, seeks to establish a mechanism for harnessing and managing information, ideas and knowledge of existing and retiring office administrators personnel for decision making.
The Public Service Commission introduced the Office Administrative Services Personnel Mentorship Program in 2019 in a move that was aimed at enabling officers to become accomplished, productive and successful in sustaining their professional vitality. Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Public Service, who was speaking during the 2022 launch of the program, challenged the mentorship champions to maintain government integrity and image.
It is important that the skills you've learned over time and the maturity that you have gained be imparted into the younger officers that are coming into the service. And training is good, but training, going to a training for a week, you are pumped with a lot of information. After that, you forget. So there's no teacher like the experience, and that is why we are here. That's why we started your mentorship program.
She further urged the personnel to create and maintain a harmonious working environment by supporting information technology systems to manage retention of knowledge in the organizations. The training brought together members of the public service, including ministries, counties and parastatals. Frederick Moki for Lunchtime News.
And in the political arena, the Azimio Volunteers movement has urged Kenyans to rally behind the candidature of Raila Odinga and Martha Karua. This as Kilifi County gubernatorial candidate Aisha Jumwa has urged the residents to elect leaders who will prioritize reducing the high cost of living.
The Azimio Volunteers Movement is aiming at recruiting over 10 million new members to work towards Raila Odinga's presidential bid. Speaking in Nairobi, Defense Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa, who was the chief guest, termed Raila as the only candidate who has the will of Kenyans at heart.
In 2010, had we not seen the vision of Raila Odinga, and 7 million of us supporters said yes to that new constitution, we don't have devolution today. So that is the choice we're going to be making on the 9th. And it will really matter the kind of leaders you put in place.
This as Laikipia Deputy Governor John Mwaniki has urged Azimio supporters in the region to come out in large numbers and vote in.
Points that resonate very well with our people. That is education and Baba care. Let us remember that the message that we take to our people must be for hope and must be one that clearly differentiates between ourselves and the other team.
Meanwhile, a section of voters from Kiambu County has raised the voices in support of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance presidential candidate Raila Odinga and Kiambu Governor James Nyoro in the upcoming polls.
Tunaomba wenzetu wana diaspora wote tuunge mkono Governor Nyoro. Sababu Governor Nyoro amekuwa na baba kutoka mwanzo. Alishuka naye mlima kutoka pale Nanyuki mpaka tukakuja mpaka Githurai. Miezi hiyo yote mpaka sahi amekuwa na sisi wakati tunasukuma hii gurudumu la kuuza baba Mount Kenya. Na hata sahi mwenye akufae kwa dhiki ndiye rafiki.
Elsewhere, Kilifi UDA gubernatorial candidate Aisha Jumwa has insisted that she is best suited to be the next governor of the vast county.
Najua kuna sehemu nyingi ambazo zimepangwa kwa ajili ya maendeleo ya kijamii. Viwanja vya mipira viko hapa. Mimi kazi yangu pia ni kukuza talanta kama kiongozi. Huyu mama sio kielezo kizuri. Cha mama ametoka maisha ya chini, amekwenda polepole mpaka amefika pale Kenya inamheshimu kwa sababu amejinyanyua mwenyewe. Nataka tujaribu tuangalie mali zetu, ndio nimesimama independent kwa sababu nikiingia nataka nisonge na wananchi, sina story ya kuita baba wala ya kumuita mama.
This, even as a section of leaders from the Kenya Kwanza Alliance has faulted the recent announcement by Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya to suspend levies and duties on imported maize as part of efforts to tame the skyrocketing price of maize flour.
We just did the finance bill 3 weeks ago. Government had the opportunity to bring all the proposals they have before Parliament. Government did not do that.
And Meru County Commissioner Fred Ndunga has led a peace walk in efforts to call for peaceful elections.
Neno litakalotuongoza ni piga kura, usipige mtu. Kwa hivyo tutakuwa tunatembea tukisema piga kura, usipige mtu.
For Lunchtime News, I'm Safin Achieng Oma.
And away from the political scene, a father of 2 in Tiati has gone back to class following the opening of a new school in the area. Tiati Secondary School has been hailed as a beacon of hope for many school dropouts who most of the time resort to crime.
A decade after completing his primary school education and inheriting his brother's wife, 25-year-old Daniel has decided to resume his studies following construction of Tiati Secondary School.
Nikakaa chini tu nikajiongelesha mwili yangu nikajiuliza, I've stayed home for more than 10 years and above. Nikakaa nikasema hii sasa nikiingia form 1 hapa si nitachukua just only 4 years. Nikakombea na ile nimekaa nyumbani nikasema I must do it.
Daniel says he's determined to pursue his dreams of becoming a doctor.
Nikimaliza shule, mimi nataka nisome nikuwe doctor, niitwe doctor mali. Dr. Daniel somewhere. Sasa hiyo ndio na feel kuwa doctor.
With the enrollment of 97 Form 1 students since the school was officially opened, the school has been hailed as a beacon of hope to many school dropouts in Tiaty constituency who would otherwise be potential bandits in the vast Kerio region in Baringo County, which has been in the headlines for bandit attacks and rampant killings. Area MP William Kamket added that he has now focused on transformation of his community through education, noting that by offering education to the community, the school hopes to reduce literacy levels in Tiaty, which stands at 75% of the population.
We are extremely happy, and we see that slowly but surely we will be eradicating all manner of bad cultures among our people with the transformation we are bringing through education. This is the only way. We are told many stories that we are backward, we are forward, nothing. Everybody has to begin somewhere.
The school principal said the opening of the school was a new dawn to hundreds of students who would otherwise be in the village engaging in social ills.
But now, because of the onset of this school, it has encouraged even those who have been staying at home for some time. So you see, one, it has completely eradicated, because this number you see here, this number could have stayed at home, and that one could have bring some problems in the future. So education as such has really transformed this place.
Trevor Ngendo, Lunchtime News.
Veteran journalist and former Daily Nation managing editor Joe Carthy has died. His family confirmed that Carthy passed on last night while receiving treatment at a Nairobi hospital. Various journalists have eulogized Carthy as the godfather of print media, having had an illustrious career as an editor and media trainer. He taught journalism at the universities of Addis Ababa and Nairobi, as well as the United States International University. His contribution to the growth of journalism saw him earn the Lifetime Achievement Award at the 2015 Media Council Annual Journalism Excellence Awards. He will be buried later today in accordance with the Muslim faith. Rest in peace.
The only way the media can actually help this country is, before the nomination, insists that this political party should come out with manifesto, number one. Number two, register their candidates in a transparent manner. Number three, make those candidates share platform.
May he rest in peace. Now, moving on, the Kiambu County Assembly is expected to adjourn after finalizing its legislative calendar for the second assembly. The assembly, which was inaugurated in the year 2017, has passed 32 bills, 438 motions, 170 statements, and 45 petitions.
Later on, I was able to join this assembly together with you.
Speaking during their final legislative sitting, the assembly was proud of having passed 32 bills, 438 motions, 170 statements, and 45 petitions. Kiambu County Assembly successfully impeached Governor Ferdinand Waititu from the governor's office and refuted claims that MCAs and the speaker did it under influence of the Jubilee Party administration.
We've been the first assembly in Kenya to successfully prosecute an impeachment motion in the Senate against a sitting governor, which has been upheld by the High Court and the Court of Appeal. And we also did another censure motion against a sitting CEC, which again was upheld by the Employment and Labor Relations Court at the High Court level, and was also upheld by the High Court Human Rights and Constitutional Division.
Kiambu County Speaker Stephen Dichu has called upon the incoming government to ensure it employs a collaborative approach in running the county to ensure citizens get value and services they need from those they put in leadership.
We should have a situation where money is coming from the treasury directly to the accounts of the assemblies for their own development programs and also recurrent expenditure. As of now, it is very dismal. There's a push and pull between governors and speakers and and MCAs. But we hope that in the future, this will be addressed and all is going to be well.
Pauline Nasmil for Lunchtime News.
And now on matters health, the Ministry of Health, in conjunction with the National Hospitals Insurance Fund, NHIF, have signed a contract to enhance the fund's capacity to effectively deliver on its mandate, and especially in repositioning it for the national rollout of the universal health coverage. Now, Health CS Mutahi Kagwe has noted that NHIF has come up with reforms to ease access of services and accommodation of changing healthcare ecosystem dynamics.
To improve strategic purchasing, NHIF required to identify the interventions or services to be purchased, considering the needs of Kenyans, national healthcare priorities, and cost effectiveness. MOH, NHIF, and hospitals have held extensive stakeholder engagement on strategic purchasing to ensure Kenyans access to healthcare without suffering financial hardships. At the end of the day, the end is the care of the patient and making a patient happy and putting a smile on a patient. That's the end.
The video gaming industry in Kenya is slowly gaining its pace in the entertainment industry, more so in urban centers like Nairobi since its introduction in the country in the year 2007. However, a section of Kenyans have reservations about video gaming, some terming it as a waste of time, with others comparing it to gambling, despite the two having little, if anything, in common. Edwin Austin paid a visit to a few gaming centers and filed the following report.
Only if you survive. Round one, fight!
A decade ago, video gaming was a preserve for the kids. However, the tides have shifted over the years, and today college students and even working class individuals are in the sport.
Not a decisive punch.
But why do the youth play video games?
Gaming is nice. Inasaidia sana. Kuna watu wanakuja wanajaribu kutoroka drugs kuja kugame. So pia gaming inaweza kusaidia vitu mingi sana.
We all come together so that we can entertain ourselves, so that we can be able to interact. When you win, it's like a competition in our class. So it's overall it's just for entertainment.
For others like Teresa, video games are simply not for entertainment, but a lucrative endeavor.
I play video games professionally, not just because someone has. I played professionally.
They have played places like Norway, England, and yes, it's good.
And the awards gained from the various competitions are diverse.
The prizes are like winning PS5, there are prize money, depending on the organization organizing it.
Aside from entertainment, video games have proven to be of much benefit to the youth. From being a career that they can uptake, it gets them away from crime and drug and substance abuse, and more important by far, it also gives them an opportunity to live a little.
How different is video gaming from gambling?
And like video games just for entertainment, betting can lead to very financial losses.
Video games are part of entertainment, while betting ni kama mtu ni kana hustle.
Can he finish?
The commonly played games are FIFA, Tekken and Call of Duty, and as Adams tells us, charges at off-peak hours are often lower than at peak hours.
Most people game as from 11 to 4, 11 to 10 p.m. So you have to be available on that at that time.
The establishment of a video game center requires considerable financial muscle owing to the elegant and expensive machines involved, space renting, license acquisition and renewal, and in-game purchases. However, one thing still remains a challenge.
Security. Because most of the time we get that our controllers are being stolen. That's about 5,000, 4,000 again, loss.
Electronic sport, commonly known as e-sport, has provided a lot of youth with employment. To underscore the immensity and status of e-sport as a truly athletic sport, demonstrations of e-sports will be included in the 2024 Paris Summer Olympic Games.
With over 16.3 billion Kenya shillings in revenue being generated from the video gaming industry in the year 2022 and a projection of 18 billion to be generated by the year 2023, then it goes without saying that indeed the video gaming industry is quite a formidable one.
Edwin Austin for Lunchtime News.
You win.
Well, health workers at the Moranga Level 5 hospital on Wednesday protested a 2-month salary delay, threatening to ground all operations in the busy health facility. The workers who marched to the offices of the county government said they were struggling economically due to lack of payment and poor working conditions. They have accused the county administration of failing to address their predicament. For these and more stories, here's the County News Roundup.
Led by their union officials, the workers gave the county until Monday to pay their 2 months arrears, failure to which they will report at the county offices daily until their dues are paid.
We have always had to wait longer than every other county for just payment of basic salaries. I do not understand what grand vision a county can have to help its people when you do not have the basic competence of paying the people who work for you.
Elsewhere, artists and musicians have received a boost after Afrochart provided them with a platform where they can advertise and sell their music to their fans at no cost. The platform, which started in 2020, gives artists control of their brand and also allows them to set prices for their music.
Giving artists more advantage to be their own boss to their music. So we're giving artists an advantage to earn from their EPs before release.
How we can be our own boss at Kama artists, and we really appreciate that, though I myself I got a big challenge about that, but with time we'll get to know more about it.
Itatusaidia sana. Hasa kwa sisi wa Masai ambao tupo nyuma kidogo kwenye hii mambo ya muziki, lakini sasa tunaanza kuona milango inafunguka cause mimi nitakuwa kioo cha Masai wote.
In Kiambu County, shock has engulfed residents of Kawaida village in Kiambaa after a badly mutilated body of a businessman was recovered in the village this morning.
Lakini sasa ndio kumeanza watu wananunua hii mashamba sana, na watu wapya wanaanza kuja. Hao watu wanakuja pengine ndio wanakuja na mama.
Watu wakiongea na kuhuzunika sana venye huu mwanaume ametolewa mbavu, roho, kichwa, hakuna ulimi, manyama ndani huko ndani hakuna.
And Meru County Commissioner Fred Ndunga has today led a march for peaceful election in Meru County. The initiative, dubbed Piga Kura Usipige Mtu, started in Meru town and will be replicated in all sub-counties in Meru.
Wanasiasa nimekuwa nikiwaambia na nataka kurejelea. Jaribu kadiri uwezavyo na kushughulisha watu wako, muzingatie amani. Kwa mikutano yote, zingatia amani.
Finally, Ambassador Simon Nabukwesi has lauded Meru University of Science and Technology for the increased efforts towards innovation and research as a way of creating new ways in solving societal problems.
This will serve to propel our country globally in terms of research outputs and innovation for development.
A resident from Kandui, Bungoma County, Evelyn Nasabu, is crying for justice after another person claimed ownership to her land. Nasabu said she rightfully acquired a piece of land from one Judith Echesa in 2016, only for Bramwell Wafula to show up claiming to be the rightful owner of the piece of land. According to the complainant, the matter has been reported to Bungoma Police Station, but not much has been done to solve the issue. She is now appealing to high authorities to bring an end to her suffering that has seen her fail to get justice even after reporting the matter to the Independent Policing Oversight Authority.
Kuna wakubwa kulika hao wanisaidie bure, mimi sina mahali yenye hata naishi. Shamba yenye nimetegemea ndio yenye wanataka kuniibia sasa. Nikakuja mpaka Kakamega Aipoa. Pia wakakuja paka wakanifuata mpaka huko. wakachukua hiyo kitabu ya OP wenyewe wakaenda through, wakapata statement vile imeandikwa, lakini huyo mwizi hakuchukuliwa. Huyo mwizi anapiga tu kifua kila siku kuniambia tu, akipita kwa mlango yangu, njia iko karibu, anapita ananiambianga atanihangaisha paka nijiue.
Now, the number of people in dire need of food aid across the country has reached 4 million, a situation that has been compounded by the drought that has plagued many parts of the country. According to the World Food Programme, at least $130 million, approximately 13.7 billion shillings, is required to support them, with Marsabit County being one of the worst hit.
The World Food Programme WFP has listed Marsabit County as one of the counties in dire need of food aid. According to Samuel Kiarie, a World Food Programme officer in Marsabit County who oversaw the distribution of food aid in the Koka and El Besa areas of the North Hall constituency, many pastoralists have crossed to Ethiopian side in search of fodder for their livestock.
Half the population have lost their livestock, which is the main source of livelihood. These families are also moving to drought fallback areas to really try and see if they can get some pasture for their livestock.
Mbeleni imetegemea zaidi mbuzi, lakini mbuzi imeisha ajili ya ukame.
The drought situation has led to a sharp rise in the number of children under the age of 5 suffering from malnutrition in the county.
We have had a high malnutrition rates of children with a GAM rate of around 20, some going to about 28%. And therefore hotspot areas are North Hall.
According to Marsabit County Disaster Management Coordinator Mustafa Parkoa, 310 people will need food aid by end of August this year.
Tuko na shida ya maji, bilali, imetumalizia mali, mbuzi, hata mimi mwenyewe nilikuwa na mbuzi mingi, sasa nimebaki sababu ya jilali nimebaki na 8 tu peke yake.
The disaster management team said 26,506 families would benefit from the cash transfer program, up from 20,453 families.
WFP and the government of county government of Marsabit and also the government of Kenya are targeting with food and cash assistance to alleviate their suffering.
In other news, a 23-year-old woman was burned to death in her Kitengela rental house in what is suspected to be a murder by her boyfriend. The deceased was found in her bed with a burning 6-kilogram gas cylinder underneath her bed.
Neighbors in Moonlight Plaza along Deliverance Road, New Valley Estate in Kitengela were woken up by smoke emanating from a 23-year-old woman's rental house. Derangu's body was found in her bed and burned beyond recognition.
Kuna jirani alikuja kuniamsha asubuhi kwa kuna moshi natoka kwa nyumba. So venye nikaamka nikakwenda kuangalia nikapata moshi natoka.
According to the building caretaker Nicholas Omondi, he was forced to break into the house but could not save the victim.
Kuangalia nikapata ndani wamelock na kifuli. So nikaenda nikachukua kitu ya kuvunja, tukachukua na majirani kitu ya kuvunja mlango. Tukavunja mlango, tukaanza kuzima juu moshi ilikuwa ndani ya nyumba, hatukuwa tunajua hatukuwa najua kama mtu ako ndani ya nyumba.
Her face to have been disfigured by what was suspected to be acid with blood underneath her bed. The victim had been living there for 3 months before her untimely demise. Police officers moved the body to Kitengela Sub-County Hospital morgue. A senior OCPD, Ansent Kaloki, said investigation has been launched. For Lunchtime News, I am Zainab Mohammed.
And now across borders, following the death of dozens of migrants who lost their lives during a smuggling attempt from Mexico to the United States, the suspected driver of the truck they were ferried in has been arrested. An accused conspirator has also been arrested, and they have both been charged with human trafficking offences.
If convicted, each man faces a maximum sentence of life in prison or a possible death penalty, as stated by the United States Justice Department during a session in which charges from the deadliest migrant trafficking incident were announced. The death toll has now risen to 53 after local authorities reported the passing of 2 more migrants who were initially hospitalized. The truck's alleged driver, identified as Homero Zamorano of Texas origin, was arrested near the scene and charged with 1 complaint of alien smuggling resulting in death. Local Texas residents gathered at the memorial service, which was conducted at the site of tragedy. Elsewhere, Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has been seen as Philippines' 17th president in a colorful ceremony held in the country's capital of Manila. The 64-year-old is inheriting a country that is still on the road to recovery after the COVID-19 pandemic, skyrocketing inflation, and rising debts. He is set to repaint the country's image as he succeeds outgoing President Rodrigo Duterte, whose term was characterized by bloody war on drugs policy and a tightened grip on press freedom. Ferdinand won the elections in a landslide last month and finally made a comeback for his family's political dynasty. For Lunchtime News, Efi Nyakidi.
Well, that report brings us to our first break here on Lunchtime News. Don't go too far, we still have more news coming up.
With less than 2 months remaining to August 9th, battle lines have been drawn in Kakamega County, with candidates receiving clearance from the IEBC to vie for the seat. This Thursday, 30th June, tune in to KBC Channel 1 from 9:50 p.m. for a live gubernatorial debate and get to know each candidate's development agenda for Kakamega County.
Top sports attractions on KBC Channel 1. In July, Kenya Morans face off against the DRC, Egypt and Senegal in the FIBA Basketball World Cup African qualifiers in Alexandria, Egypt from 1st to 3rd of July 2022. Also in July, Kenya plays South Africa in Rugby League test matches in Nairobi with a return fixture set for October. Still in July, watch the World Athletic Championships from 15th to 24th July, live from Oregon, USA, as Kenyan athletes seek glory. Followed by the 22nd Commonwealth Games from 28th July to 8th August, live from Birmingham, England. In August, join our coverage of the World Athletics Under-20 Championships from the 1st to 6th of August 2022 from Cali, Colombia. Then, in November, catch the World Half Marathon Championships on 13th November from Yangzhou, China. Now that's what sets us apart as KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
Welcome back. Now let's talk business. Kenya has embarked on a countrywide campaign to sensitize small and medium businesses on the opportunities offered by the African Continental Free Trade. Cabinet Secretary Betty Maina says Kenya has prepared a national implementation strategy that provides a framework for the implementation of the Africa FTA to facilitate an expansion of the country's trade and investment in Africa and support structural transformation.
Comprising 55 countries with a population of 1.3 billion and a combined economy of $3.4 trillion, the African Free Trade Area is the largest free trade region in the world, both by the area and by the number of countries. It is expected that by 2035, the Continental Trade Pact will enhance Africa's income by $450 billion while increasing Africa's exports of goods and services by $560 billion. Trade Cabinet Secretary Betty Maina says the country has prepared a national implementation strategy that provides a framework for the implementation of the AfCFTA to facilitate an expansion of the country's trade and investment in Africa and support structural transformation. The strategy seeks to establish a favorable business environment to attract new domestic and foreign investment, equipping micro and small enterprises to enable them to expand and improve their productivity. It is projected that African Free Trade Area will elevate over 30 million people out of extreme poverty, while boosting the incomes of nearly 68 million others who live on less than $5. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I am Teresa Mutai.
As Kenya targets 50% motorized power use in farms by 2030, civil society groups have begun equipping farmers across the country with tractors in a bid to catalyze a faster progression towards this goal. Farmers in Kakamega County received 3 tractors and a 4.2-acre parcel of land from Shofco in efforts to enhance motorized power use.
Agriculture contributes a third of the gross domestic product, 60% of export earnings, and employs 75% of the national labor force. Despite the launch of the National Agricultural Mechanization Strategy, the adoption still remains dismal. Many farmers, especially in remote areas, still use manual means to farm, while others resort to hiring tractors, a decision that costs them a considerable chunk of their profits when the yields come in.
Kuna shida na mambo ya tractor za county hazitoshi.
This low level of agricultural mechanization in the country has led to dire consequences, such as environmental degradation, deterioration in produce quality, low agricultural production, and underutilization of agricultural land. To mitigate this, civil society groups are providing communal tractors, with the initial stages covering 100,000 farmers in the western region and an aim to reach 3 million farmers in 15 counties. The move would cut tractor cost by half, allowing them to channel the funds into quality farm seeds and fertilizer.
Tuletea maendeleo western na ninajua itakuwa saiti. Shule zitakuwa nyingi, hospitali ndio hii tayari tumepata na vitu vingine vingi.
The farmers say initially hiring from individuals was too expensive, pushing most of them to settling for hand power farming, which is both labor and time intensive. Hibak Said for Lunchtime News.
The micro, small and medium-sized enterprises have been urged to take advantage of the available financial solutions offered by lending institutions to boost their businesses. The sector is a critical driver of economic growth and a contributor to poverty alleviation and employment creation in the country. National Treasury Principal Secretary Julius Muir has said the government has crafted various policies aimed at facilitating the growth of SMEs in the country.
Despite their major economic role, small businesses continue to face funding challenges, hindering their growth in the country. The sector, which accounts for more than 80% of businesses in Kenya, continues to face other challenges due to COVID-19 pandemic. The sector is also a critical driver of economic growth and job creation in the country.
When we talk about private sector being the engine of development, it is actually MSMEs that are that engine that we talk about.
The government is urging small businesses to take up affordable business loans under the National Credit Guarantee Scheme launched in 2020.
We encourage SMEs to utilize all the resources and support available in the ecosystem to accelerate recovery and to build back their businesses better.
I'm calling on the banking fraternity to sit with the entrepreneurs in a structured manner so that we can think about a novel way in which to support MSMEs in this new scenario of tightening global financial markets, where whenever there's a global shock, like we're having these many shocks going on, money takes off from developing countries to what is called places of safety.
Speaking during the launch of the Inuka Enterprise Program, which aims to empower micro-enterprises, National Treasury Principal Secretary Dr. Julius Muir has urged SMEs to formalize and professionalize their management to optimize operations and increase their economic productivity. The Inuka program has so far benefited 15,000 MSMEs through platforms such as the Inua Biashara Forum. The inability by MSMEs to access finances from the banking sector have proven to be a major challenge to many MSMEs. But today, stakeholders from the Kenya Bankers Association have come up with a raft of measures to ease access to finances.
The World Bank has approved a $500 million loan to strengthen Egypt's resilience to food crisis and to support reforms in food security policies. The Russian-Ukraine war has driven up prices and created nutritional shortfalls, particularly for people who rely on bread for their daily nutritional needs. Here are the details of the story and much more across Africa.
Funds will primarily support Egypt's wheat purchases to help the government maintain a strategic reserve and utilize the investments made in raising the country's grain storage capacity. The project supports national efforts to reduce waste loss in the wheat supply chain through the grade and expansion of climate-resilient wheat silos. It will also sustainably improve domestic cereal production and strengthen Egypt's preparedness and resilience to future shocks. The project incorporates climate change efforts and investments to modernize wheat silos, as well as introduce farmer extension and training programs that promote climate-smart agricultural practices. Meanwhile, South Africa's small businesses, still reeling from the rising inflation, are now under further strain due to the worst power cuts in over 2 years. Business owners say they are feeling an immediate impact as power cuts are eating into their daily sales, leading to some considering laying off staff. Eskom has implemented stage 6 outages, meaning at least 6 hours of power cuts a day. The power company has blamed the latest outages on an unlawful strike linked to a wage dispute with trade unions that began last week. The protesters blocked the road leading to some power plants to hinder the shipment of coal and other necessities for power generation. Finally, the Bank of Uganda is developing guidelines that will formalize its regulatory mandate among selected savings and credit cooperatives. The guidelines shall provide a licensing regime detailing the structure of annual fees, renewal of licenses, SACCO publication, and circumstances under which a license is revoked. Once finalized, these regulations shall operationalize the amendments to the Tier 4 Microfinance and Moneylenders Act 2016. The Ministries of Finance and Justice and Constitutional Affairs are to develop the regulations which will pave way for supervision of SACCOs. For Lunchtime News, I am Charity Modhoni.
The Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization has partnered with SNV Netherlands to implement a 3-year improved forage plan for arid and semi-arid lands targeting 3 counties. The plan targeting Taita Taveta, Kajiado and Narok counties is aimed at enhancing agro-pastoralist livelihoods through climate-smart innovations and sustainable landscape management.
Arid and semi-arid lands, the livestock sector employs 50% of the agricultural workforce and is the main source of livelihoods for approximately 10 million Kenyans. Climate projections for the coming decades show more hot days and less predictable rainfall, a trend that will make it more difficult for pastoralist communities to escape malnutrition and food insecurity. To address these challenges, SNV Netherlands has partnered with Calro to aid agro-pastoralists in supplementing their livelihoods through climate-smart innovations and agro-husbandry skills. The 3-year project intends to educate farmers on climate adaptation through the adoption of improved forage seed technologies that will improve the production of crops as well as their quality. The project will also empower at least 10,000 households to apply new technologies that will provide them with affordable livestock-relevant products that will enhance increased meat quality. The program will also ensure that the county governments of Narok, Taita Taveta and Kajiado are at the forefront in formulating policies that will promote better natural resource management, infrastructure development, and commercial opportunities in climate-smart innovations to support agro-pastoralist communities. Nduta Mokami for Lunchtime News.
Now, top oil exporter Saudi Arabia may raise prices of light crude grades to Asia for the second straight month in August on the back of record distillate margins and strong spot premiums for Middle Eastern oil this month. The official selling price for Saudi's flagship Arab light crude could rise by about $2.4 a barrel from the previous month. Here are the details of these and others in our international business roundup.
The price hike would drive the August official selling price close to record levels set when May Arab light crude reached $9.35 a barrel. Margins for gasoline, diesel and jet fuel in Asia leapt to records in June alongside a revival of travel demand amid the easing of COVID-19 restrictions. The monthly change in first and third month price spread for Middle East benchmarks Dubai typically guides how much Saudi might raise or cut Arab light OSP. This month, the spread widened by an average of $2.47 a barrel in backwardation, a market phase when prompt prices are higher than those in future months, indicating tight supply. Elsewhere, facing the toughest economic conditions in decades, Britain's supermarkets are cutting product ranges, searching for cost saving and patrolling each other's stores to check prices and products as they try to stay one step ahead. Like retailers across the world, UK grocers including market leader and number 2 Sainsbury are struggling with the soaring cost of supplies and a shortage of key products and workers and cash-strapped consumers. Finally, Japan's factory output posted the biggest monthly drop in 2 years in May as China's COVID-19 lockdowns and semiconductor and other parts shortages hit. Manufacturers added more pressure on an economy struggling to mount a strong recovery. The decline also highlights the challenges the world's third largest economy faces in overcoming supply disruptions and persistently high prices of raw materials and energy that analysts say could weaken global demand. Factory output slumped, a seasonally adjusted 7.2% in May from the previous month.
Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority is urging members of the public to be vigilant and report cases of fuel adulteration and illegal trade in liquefied petroleum gas. This follows a series of surveillance and tests whose results indicated a myriad of malpractices, including offering for sale diesel meant for export, as well as offering for sale super petrol and diesel adulterated with domestic kerosene in at least 9 sites across the country. Consequently, the EPRA has sealed pump operations belonging to the operators found non-compliant.
The Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority is mandated under Section 92 of the Petroleum Act of 2019 to monitor petroleum products offered for sale in the local market with the aim of preventing motor fuel adulteration or dumping of export-bound fuels. During the period April to June 2022, a total of 5,276 tests were conducted at 1,191 petroleum sites. From the test, 99.24% of the sites were found to be compliant. However, tests from the 9 sites in Kisumu, Kitui, Machakos, Busia, Kakamega, Nakuru and Homa Bay turned out to be non-compliant. The test results indicated a myriad of malpractices, including offering for sale diesel meant for export, as well as offering for sale super petrol and diesel adulterated with domestic kerosene. While some would argue the high cost of fuel is to blame, the culprits will bear the consequences, including having some stations closed while others have their pump seals sealed. At the same time, a survey carried out between April and June this year flagged Koforo Gas Limited operating off Old Mombasa Road, refilling and trading with liquefied petroleum gas cylinders of other licensees for gain without their consent. The matter is in court awaiting determination. To weed out unscrupulous traders in the energy value chain, the authority has appealed to members of the public to report any suspicious cases of fuel adulteration and illegal trade of LPG. Regina Manyara reporting for Lunchtime News.
And now in other news, we cross over to Migori County, where the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance is holding political rally in Awendo, and our reporter Wycliffe Okech is manning the ground and has more details. Okech, kindly bring us to speed.
Azimio inawezekana nyingrosi Yesu ya wadhomu kosoka do awacho kosoka wacho.
Well, thank you so much, Jacqueline Wambiru, back in Nairobi. We are, of course, coming live to you from Migori County, that is in Awendo constituency. Today, it's all about the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party campaigns in Odinga's Nyanza backyard. That kick-started yesterday, actually, with the Azimio la Umoja running with Martha Karua, who actually paved the way for this enhanced Azimio la Umoja campaigns in this region. Raila Odinga will be in this region starting for the next 4 days. Today is in Migori, tomorrow he will be in Nyamira, and again on Saturday he will go to Siaya, and Sunday he will finalize. Will be back in Homa Bay County to finalize his 4 days campaign tour. And actually, what we can expect from those from the visit here is. Right now, there is the concept, or rather, there is the proposal within the Azimio Party, the zoning concept, in which they plan actually to zone regions to ensure that they capture as many seats as possible, such that in the event that the Azimio forms the next government, then they will have the power actually to pass the bills and to get the business done for them. Right now, we are at Sony Awendo Green Stadium here, and Raila and his team are in a place called Nyati, when I've been following the proceedings there, and they are almost concluding the remarks there, after which they will fly and drop here to address the gathering here. And as my colleague Martin Kivuti can already pan, like he is already doing, you can see the crowd is already gathering here, and all about right now it's about entertainment. Actually, the local leaders who are vying for the local seats, they talk about the MCA seats and other MP seats. That is. It's the session of the introduction session, after which, like I mentioned, Odinga and his team will be arriving here to address this gathering. Among the leaders in that entourage is the Kalonzo Musyoka of the Wiper Party, and again Joho is in that entourage, Mutisa Kitui, and other leaders actually will keep note of every remark there, and update of yours later on regarding the remarks here. And Jackie, like I've mentioned, the key thing that we can expect from this meeting is to rally the locals here to come out in their numbers. Actually, we call it the 100% voter turnout here, and that is actually, you've been following those remarks, and that is has come out from every leader who has spoken, trying to rally the locals here to actually come out in their numbers actually to vote Odinga in the upcoming polls. Like I've mentioned, we'll keep the remarks and file the same in our subsequent bulletins. For now, I hand it back to you, Jackie.
Well, that was our reporter coming live from Awendo in Migori County, where the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance rally is currently underway, led by Azimio presidential running mate Martha Karua. We shall be bringing you more details in our subsequent bulletins at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. and also Kurunzi at 4 p.m. For now, we cross over to the sports world, whereby Romelu Lukaku has returned to Inter Milan on a season-long loan just a year after leaving for Chelsea. Chelsea paid Inter a club record fee of £97.5 million for the 29-year-old last summer, but before Christmas the player made it clear that he was not happy at the club and hoped to rejoin the Italian side in future.
Inter Milan have agreed terms to sign Romelu Lukaku for a season loan deal. Inter agreed to pay a loan fee of about £8 million for Lukaku, who helped them win Serie A in 2020-21 season. The Belgium striker was not a regular starter